Game of the day. Valor versus Slame. Lash versus Drake.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Semi-original guy here, aka Mr. Cannon from Advance Wars by Web, bringing you another live league game of the day. Today, folks, we are back on Picks Last Stand. This is a standard matchup, tier 3, with triple base, double airport, and calm tower support, with a tiny little port thrown in the mix here today, folks. We have Slame versus Valior as our players today, playing as Drake and Lash. Now, Picks Last Stand. What a neat map Picks Last Stand is, folks. Now, before we do anything, I do need to change something. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Now, Picks Last Stand, it's a very interesting map. We do have a strong side versus weak side dynamic over here being mirrored on the opposite side here. This base is responsible for going and grabbing a whole lot of stuff, folks. So you got to go over here. You got to go in the mid. You got to try to defend this. You have to go up here. You have to defend your airport. You have to go over here. All from a single base, folks. But the two base side, now what this can do is you can go over here, find your way into the middle, attack the middle. You can go over here, capture the airport, go down here, attack that city, go over here, attack this city, do a mad push, grab comm towers, grab the corner, grab the HQ. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things that can go down on this map. Whether or not we're going to be seeing any of that happen is a completely other story indeed. But the other thing is we have a pre-deployed lander, which goes over here, which could potentially funnel units from here to these sections of the map right here, or potentially right here. I wouldn't say that you would really want to drop off over here, but here, 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 and here, they're all good spots to drop off. Now, that could potentially turn this into a much stronger side. That does help with reinforcing the HQ if you find yourself in a dire situation where you have tons of units coming at your HQ. You can at least drop off a few to help yourself out there, folks. But I think we're going to be having a pretty good game here today, folks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what went down in the live league today. On the first few days, folks, you all know the deal. It is the standard infantry builds because you got to get the infantry on the field. Number 1 priority in Advance Wars by Web. Number 2 priority in Advance Wars by Web. After all, folks, make sure you like and subscribe to that channel for all that hot live league action. Aside from that, folks, we got ourselves a game. Well, let's see how this one goes through. Now, I've seen people do what Slame is doing at the top of the map here, where they actually forego capturing the base in opposed to actually capturing the city first and getting a little bit more income. Now, I'm not too sure what sort of a benefit that is going to have later on. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of extra funds. You're going to be a little bit lower in unit count. But in a map where you have double airport, it's not necessarily a bad thing to be too far behind in unit count early, because you do tend to make up for it in air units later on. That being said, though, Drake's air units are, I mean, they're kind of really bad for the most part, you know? They are pretty bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're not really good, but an air unit is still an air unit, folks. And an air unit can do what an air unit does, and that is be flippin' annoying. All right, we got an early tank over here from Slame. Oh, and I got the hiccups. That early tank is heading towards the bottom portion of the map. Most likely is going to be contesting that city right here. Now, I think what this tank is probably going to do is it's probably going to put pressure over here on this tank, or this city, initially, allowing maybe some time for some units to get over here, or alternatively, it could just go down here and put pressure on the comm tower So I don't know. There's definitely a few ways that this can go. Probably the safest route is for it to go down here and attack the comm tower. Now, if it attacks the comm tower, it's going to make it so Valior cannot actually respond to it right away. So I think maybe that might be what we're seeing here, folks. I'm not quite sure, but it is Slame's turn. We are going to see what they got cooking here, folks. Yeah, he's going for that flipping comm tower, folks. We are not going to be seeing any additional firepower on those lash units for quite some time. Busting out the second tank. Valior, on the other hand, has decided to open up with a recon here. Now, I think recon is pretty okay, but it does take a little while for it to sort of reach like the HQ region. But if its initial idea is to harass the city and get into the center of the map, then I think it's definitely got some play for sure. Slame is probably going to be sending that tank down south, though. Now, the problem is if he sends the tank down south, there is definitely the possibility that Valior busts out a battlecopter, immediately countering the tank, forcing it to run away. Now, that would definitely hinder the progression a little bit here, but we'll see, because it does look like, yeah, there's the battlecopter, folks. Yeah, so you know what? It doesn't even matter what I was going to say, because the battlecopter is on the field and it's ready to go. But Valior strikes the capping infantry in the middle of the map. That is going to open up his tank to a first strike. However, sometimes getting first struck is not necessarily the worst thing, folks. It's not necessarily the worst thing when you are able to deny captures, deny income, deny space. There's a lot of reasons why you could potentially allow for a first strike to happen. Now, as we see here, yes, a first strike did happen. It's an 8-6 trade, but you know what? It's not too bad. It could have been worse. If it was a 5-8 trade, then yeah, that would be pretty annoying. But, you know, a 6-8 trade, that's not really the worst thing that can happen to you. Alright, tank retreats. I'm going to go get those heals. Oh, the lander's dropping off more units here. Battlecop just taking a position. Forces the buy of the anti-air 2 over here from Slame. Very interesting. Slame going for a few more properties now. Capping 3. And manages to clip out 2 infantry out of existence on the field. Now that is definitely going to be felt over here from Valior. Alright, day 9. Let's see what Valior's got cooking here. Manages to bust out a few more a few more infantry. Doing my best to talk here, folks. A few more infantry, but does manage to interrupt the capture over there on the eastern front. Interrupts the capture further over here as well. This guy's sitting at 2. That's not going to be captured this turn. There is definitely some potential for some strikes over here from Drake, but whether or not Drake wants to take those strikes is another completely other story altogether. Especially considering that there's battlecopter here. It would be nice if battlecopter was a little bit further, but you know what? You can't always get what you want, folks. Day 10 battlecopter over here from Drake. Very interesting. Definitely do have to get a few, you know, what are they called? Air units over here, even as Drake. You know, it definitely helps with map control. But Slame actually ahead in unit count now, 26 to 22. Valior going for the comm tower. Gets a double clip on a tank plus a first strike. Not too shabby at all. Definitely is going to be needing an anti-air or battlecopter. Battlecopter works too. This tank over here is super far forward. That guy is feeling adventurous. He's feeling feisty. Let's see how that works out for him. Battlecopter runs away. He has to run away. There's no way that he can stay in the center or stay over here. Anti-air zones him out. So unfortunately, that is going to result in the loss of some infantry here, for sure, but you don't really have any other choice. Let's see what Slame decides to do. Oh, that's a very adventurous capture. Manages to take out a tank, attack some infantry. Slame's position is looking pretty good here. It's looking pretty good. However, there are definitely a few first strikes over here from Valior that are potentially going to happen here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like he can two-hit this. He cannot two-hit the the anti-air, which is unfortunate. Would be nice if the anti-air could be two-hit, but it can only be one hit. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage. So it might be more worthwhile just to attack the tanks. Yeah, just attack the tanks. Alrighty, tanks have been struck. Now, it doesn't really look like Slame's got too many attacks. It's definitely got maybe 2. It's got 2 potential attacks over here. Could potentially set up with the artillery. But aside from that, he doesn't really have a whole lot else going for him. Oh, he pops the tsunami. Stops the comm tower capture. Interesting tsunami choice, actually. That denies the capture of the comm tower over on the western front. But for how long? For how long? That is the real question. That comm tower capture is going through. There is nothing that can stop it. Oh, and actually threatening a capture of a property now. Very nice. Busting out the artillery. Good old artillery drop. Can't go wrong with that, folks. Now, one thing you can go wrong with is the fact that the lander is running out of fuel. That is one of the drawbacks of fighting Drake, folks. One of the drawbacks of fighting Drake is you have to deal with fuel drain. And fuel drain is a pain. Whoa, he goes for this attack. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, cool. Oh my god, Slame is threatening another capture. Now this is a little bit crafty because it's basically forcing an attack. You have to respond to that attack, otherwise you're going to lose a property. So I think that is very calculated over here from Slame, who is now at 28 units to 23. It is Barry's turn. Valior. Valior is actually a mod in my Discord, by the way, folks. You can join my Discord in the link in the description. So if you hear me say Barry every once in a while, I'm just referring to Lash or Valior. Alrighty, folks, but we got some fat attacks over here, plus a interrupt. Very nice. Can't really do much up north until we get that anti-air into place, though. That is 100% for sure. Oh, Barry is definitely bridging the gap here, though. He is definitely creeping up on unit count. He's going to lose a few this turn. So that's not really too bad. It's not too bad. Ooh, loses 1. Loses the battlecopter. Loses the battlecopter over on the western front. That one is unfortunate. Loses the battlecopter on the eastern front as well. Slame is busting out the classiest unit in Advance Wars. AWBW, the classy medium tank. It's on the field. It is ready to go. Day 14. We have a terrain tactics, folks. A terrain tactics. Very interesting. Let's see what happens with this terrain. Look at that flipping recon movement. Oh my gosh. And look at this. Anti-air just swooping in there to get that damage. That is actually a huge hit. Huge hit to the army of Slame right now. Taking out that anti-air up north. Or that battlecopter up north with the anti-air. Which puts the anti-air in position to threaten the HQ. Now that also will threaten the airport as well, which is double trouble. But Slame does have another co-power on deck here. Is he going to pop it? Or is he going to wait until the Typhoon is ready and get that super co-power with that 2 damage? This is looking super scary, folks. Super scary. Slame is coming close to the HQ, folks. Barry doesn't really have a whole lot. Lash, Valior, they're all the same person. He doesn't have a whole lot. What is he going to do? Oh, he's putting some mad threat up north, folks. Mad threat. That is actually pretty big. Oh, and he's going for a full-on attack up north here, or in the center of the map. Oh, that is going to get counterattacked pretty heavily because there is a typhoon on deck here, folks, and it is popped. It's popped massive amounts of damage here. Let's see what sort of catastrophic things are going to happen here. Even the artillery in the back lines is getting some work done, folks. Taking out a tank. Classy medium tank moving in. Oh my lord. That basically just annihilated Barry's front over here. Oh, and the airport has been locked, folks. Oh no. The airport is locked. And there is almost nothing. There's nothing guarding that HQ. What are we going to do? Oh, we got an HQ cap attempt over here from Barry. Valior. Lash is going for that HQ. At this point, it's got to happen, folks. This is a do or die situation. We are on the clock. There is no time left. Who is going to get this HQ first? That is the question, because Slame is in position to grab that HQ very, very quickly here. You know what? It probably wouldn't even be that bad of an idea if Slame could join some units together. Maybe even bust out a battleship, folks. Maybe a battleship is what we need. Maybe the battleship is what we need to stay in this game. I don't know, but a comm tower has been acquired here. I don't think we're given enough respect to the HQ cap, folks. We got the battlecopter on the field. But there's a flippin' prime tactics. There's a prime tactics right here, folks. The battlecopter's been destroyed. And Barry just deletes his units, folks. Valior deletes his units so Slame cannot get any charge. Because we have ourselves an HQ cap, folks, and this is an unstoppable HQ cap. There is nothing that can stop it. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. So despite the fact that Slame has massive control all over the map, it is Valior, Lash, that is victorious here today. 24 kills to 35 in true Lash fashion. The true underdog. What an amazing game by both of these players. What an amazing HQ cap over here from Valior. Well played, both players. Hopefully you all enjoyed that game today. If you did, consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. We have a classy boy of the sky over here, by the way. And I'll see you all on the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye for now.